Um, so today I've been thinking about how I wanted to talk about the tools we use to expand our minds and wake up and all that kind of thing. So I wanted to talk about the drugs and what I've found, and what a lot of us know. And if you listen to any of the in-depth like articles around these drugs and the benefits and everything, plant medicine, um, psychedelics, all that kind of thing. So it's been such a massive part of me, helping me in my um, experience of discovering myself, accepting myself, self-empowering myself, um, expanding my mind, like understanding things in a much greater, I don't know, state. Discovery of more that I can feel, know, experience. So I don't want this to go on for too long, and I'm so interested in it, so I'll probably talk about it for forever. But the one that's been on my mind this morning is DMT. And I just wanted to kind of like, I really feel, especially with this like whole quantum consciousness, time, the concept of time, space, that everything's happening all at once, everywhere. These concepts that are being discussed a lot recently, the whole quantum mechanics, where we fit into this, how does it work in our everyday life? What even is it? It's so hard to explain these concepts because it's like it is a different dimensionality of our reality, and so it's so hard to grasp that idea when we're in a different dimension of reality type thing. You can read about it and try and understand it. It's pretty confusing, but it's different if you get to experience it. And so I don't know if this is like for everyone, but for me, if you experience something, you can know it on a deeper level. You know what I mean? Like, it's no longer theory, like you feel what it is. And so with my experiences with DMT, that allowed me to experience like this no time warping type quantum world experience. So it is that much easier for me to understand the concepts, and that's why I think DMT experiences can help us on such a grand scale, in order for us to start moving our consciousness and understanding of the all and how quantum works with our reality and how we can fit into it. Like, it's such a good tool to actually get it, because you feel it in that reality, like in the DMT reality. It blows your mind, and it's really full on to experience that. But at the same time, it expands your mind and understanding of these things. And it is that type of thinking that more of us need to do. To get our priorities straight, for one thing. Like, there is a greater reality out there, the big picture thinking, and feeling in order to really, for us to get out of the box of this is our reality here. There's so much more, and that's why I think DMT has got some amazing uses in order to actually put the person in these types of experiences to really blow your mind. I haven't done ayahuasca. I'm guessing that might be similar. I've just had DMT. Mushrooms I've had mushroom experiences that have also been very similar and brought similar experiences. So I've understood it's felt the same as DMT, whereas it's like just a different concept of time. It's like you're thinking on a different dimension of yourself, and through these experiences you can get to know yourself and the levels of yourself because we may be used to just being in touch with this level, but we actually have more levels of consciousness of us that we can tap into and remember. Like these drugs kind of almost just take us into a higher being of ourselves. And it's like when you get that experience, it's like a remembering of, yeah, fuck, I've got that me as well. And there's that me as well. And it's almost like by having these experiences, you link up again. And it's that much easier for these bigger concepts and for you to get in touch with the higher selves of you. This is like the multidimensional use levels of your consciousness in order to bring it back into your reality so you can have a more higher dimensional, higher consciousness experience in this body. So yeah, a couple of experiences I've had in order to explain that. For example, with a DMT, I mean, it doesn't last for long, and I haven't had that many, but in the ones that I've had, so you go into this land. It's like you go into a different dimension, right? And inside your mind, and you remember being there, but also there's part of your mind saying, but I haven't been here before. But there is absolute feeling when you get there that, shit, I'm back here again. Really, really weird. It's like you go into this DMT land and you know you've been here many times before. But then, yeah, you haven't, but you know you have. And then it's like, fuck, I'm like, you maybe tapping into a future you that has been there. But it's like when you get into that land, it's all you at the same time. So it's like you go there and you're adding, even if it's the first time you do it, it's like when you're there, all the future yous that have had the experience, you're tapping into and can remember. But like when you come out of it, you can't remember their experiences, but you remember the feeling of remembering that you've been there before, and then you're like, well, that's weird. And the time doesn't exist there, and you get the feeling, when you're in that land and it's just like time and you're in a higher dimension, you kind of don't. It's so hard to explain. This is why these concepts, it's so hard to bring back and explain it, that's, but, having these experiences allows you to understand, like, it sinks in and you get it, how it's a different reality, but still yours when you're there. I so it's really hard for me to explain, so I'm not going to bother continue to explain that. So I'm just going to say that these experiences with these drugs actually have a massive benefit in order for us to understand these concepts of multidimensionality, time not existing, and all this stuff that everyone's talking about now and trying to explain. And when you say it in this kind of reality, it just doesn't kind of make sense. But yeah, I'm repeating myself, but yeah, I guess I'm just saying that drugs aren't bad. Some drugs are freaking really good if you want to understand these concepts more, and if you want to get in touch with the higher dimensions of you and understand your consciousness more. And the carry-on effects that these drugs have had for me has been crazily amazing, and has just helped me understand the concepts of awakening, for starters, that there is more me that I can get in touch with, and this me is in touch with everything, and you don't have to be afraid of that. And getting little tastes of that kind of experience, really, it kind of slowly brings this knowledge in and changes you and opens your mind, and heart. And I'll just quickly talk about the LSD, because that's been so amazing for me. Or kind of my journey, the highest impact at the start of my journey. My journey's been my whole life, but a major leap in my transformation into the higher me was when I, started having LSD. And that drug, LSD, really, that helped me get in touch with my heart again, to see the beauty in me and the world, and how I'm connected, and how freaking amazing everything is, how important seeing the beauty around you and connecting with nature and yourself, how important that is to open your heart and open your mind to the power of your heart and the connection with the natural environment and yourself. And that's beauty. Sorry, my brain's going everywhere. So LSD did that for me. Absolutely amazing, beautiful, really just opened my heart to loving myself. Biggest transformation within me, to love myself like I've never in my entire life. It really cracked me open in such a beautiful, gentle, beautiful flower child way. And I love, that's my favorite drug. I really love that. So LSD had a massive, beautiful effect on me. And I guess I'll quickly talk about the bad trips that people talk about. It's only bad if you think it's bad. Nothing's bad. You can use these drugs to heal your shadow, to look at your shadow. I know ayahuasca does this big time, I've heard, and mushrooms as well. It is high impact shadow healing. So, you got to understand, like, if you're going to go on the drug medicine healing journey, plant medicine healing journey, like, it is not all sunshine and roses. because we've got two sides. You can have amazing, beautiful, wow experiences, like blow your mind, magical. And then it also helps you heal yourself, and it is about healing. And if we need to look at certain aspects of ourselves, the drug can do it in such a beautiful way that you're addressing it within yourself as you're having these experiences. It takes you to a higher state of your consciousness where you can clearly see your patterns, insecurities, your shadow, in order for you to see clearly what you need to work on, to see what, just see, maybe look at this, and then you are able to clearly look at it in this state from a higher perspective, and not run away from it, like we do in this 3D reality. We're so busy and we just kind of bypass so much stuff, and we try and only stay comfortable and go for the things that makes us feel good. But having one of these experiences that may last for several hours, it's like you're being your own therapist. And if you're not afraid of it and try and run from it when you're having this experience, if you don't think of it as a bad trip, if you think of it as a healing session that you're giving yourself, and the drugs are assisting you to do this from a higher awareness level, this is why these drugs work so well. And, even the fact that you can have one of these experiences and realize that it's agitating you, and you don't want to look at that, and you're looking at that while you're trying not to look at it in this experience. And that's why people call it a bad trip or whatever, because we do actually we're faced with it. And if you're trying to get away from it within one of these trips, that for 5 hours you're going to be in agitation and anxiety for the next 5 hours, if you refuse to look at it and address it. So you either dive in and accept that experience and work through it, think about it, and it's healing yourself on the spot by doing this during this experience, or you kind of waste the experience of just being agitated and anxious and paranoid for the next 5 hours. And I've heard ayahuasca is can do similar things and is a bit like that as well. Yeah. I won't go any further now, but I kind of just wanted to say that because I have talked about the importance, what I've found with these drugs in me expanding my mind and heart. And one thing that I haven't mentioned is, like, a lot of us are kind of trapped in one way of being. Like, we do the same things every day. We kind of have forgotten how to feel certain things and how to open our minds and how to think differently, because we've done the same thing all the time, kind of locked into this one mindset and one way of feeling, or cycles of feeling or thought. And these drugs are beautiful because they give you a chance to feel such a more amazing things, so in the good experience, they're all good experiences, but you know what I mean, like the feelings of the love that LSD brought me, and how beautiful one leaf on the plant can be, seeing snowflakes like patterns in the clouds, being mesmerized and eyes awed by the things you can see having these experiences. It awakens something in you to remind you how amazing everything is and how amazing you are. And that in itself can just be like, like a trigger for you to remember that there are other states of being that are available to you. And it kind of just like switches something on, that you're not trapped in one box and one way of being, feeling, thinking. They provide this like, so they just open the pathway to more feeling, more thinking, higher thought, higher feeling. And so that's the magic of them as well, because so many of us are trapped in that blinkers on. And if we could just all take those blinkers off and see, wow, there's so much more out there to feel, to live, to be, to think, experience. So much, there's just so much growth to be had inside, and then in your life, a much more fuller way of being within yourself. And it gives you the inspiration and creativity to really bring that into your everyday life. They give you tastes of new experiences and new feelings, and like, oh, that's a whole nother side of me. And it's almost like a remembering, not like, because obviously it's all you're experiencing these things, and this is why it's just so amazing that you find more of you, and it just like, oh my God, I can have more in my life, more in me. And yeah, I'm pretty passionate about this because it's just been so amazing, for me to experience this. And this is why I've kind of said that, whenever I love having drugs, it's always a new experience what you can get from it. And this is why I kind of said that I approach it in kind of a shamanic way, is that it's because they are like tools, and it can be fun. It can be like going to an intense therapy session, but whether it's a really cool, fun experience like visions or just feeling amazing, because they do make you just feel amazing, see amazing things, learn amazing things, connect with amazing beings sometimes. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, so like I approach it in that kind of shamanic way. And healing doesn't have to be so freaking serious, and you don't have to take drugs so freaking serious. Like, you're allowed to have fun on your journey, and and just because you want to have fun having drugs doesn't mean that you're not getting something out of it at the same time, and something freaking amazing. And yeah. So so that was my little I love drugs rant for today, and what they can bring to you. So yeah, I mean, remember that we've got this DMT in our brain already, type thing, right? And if in your pineal gland, your third eye, and it's like if these DMT crystals melt in your pineal gland, that's when we naturally have these same experiences and visions, and all this. Like, if you've activated your pineal gland, it's like you've activated your natural DMT type thing. I mean, that's the way I relate to it. I'm not sure if that's scientifically accurate or anything, so don't judge me on that opinion, but that's how I view it. Like, when you've really expanded your mind, it's like you've melted that DMT in your third eye, and now you are kind of in, a little bit of DMT land. It's it's a much more easy state to be in. Like, you can activate your DMT almost, on demand, kind of, or it's kind of, you've got a little bit going on there all the time. And that's why it's kind of almost like you're in a multi-dimensional way of living when you've activated your pineal gland. And that's why I think, like, when you kind of really do that, the snake kundalini blows your mind type, then you've kind of, your DMT consciousness has been activated, and you're living a kind of different experience. And yeah, it can kind of sound crazy, but I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but that kind of is what it kind of feels like to me. I live in very DMT land, and kind of can see and experience the multi-dimensional levels of my own consciousness are kind of now available to me in this 3D body reality. It's like we're joined now. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. And I believe that, all these drugs, even, MD and I can't remember the other name, like even cocaine and meth and speed, like I can't think of the name for that group of drugs. I believe, and I've experienced benefits from all of them. Healing, sometimes difficult healing, but still, healing, and, amazing. I've tapped into some really positive benefits from all of them. I'm not going to go into the negative, aspects of them, because that's been freaking hammered into everyone. But I really just wanted to outright say that all these drugs can be useful and used as healing tools, even if it's just, short term, to improve your mood in order to expand the mind and heart and feeling body, to jolt it into remember that there's other states of being that you can be in. For example, with someone that's kind of in a very low depressive type situation, I think shocks to the system with a really high vibe experience can remind their system and their consciousness that there are other states to experience. Just saying it. I'm just saying it. Obviously medicine, they're tools. So I'm not going to get into the argument of the drawbacks or addiction or anything like that, because I believe if they're used as healing tools, it's not in the same ballpark as when we're talking about drugs in relation to addictive behavior. Two separate freaking conversations that, so yeah, I think that's basically my feelings and my ideas around it, and yeah, how I feel about it. So yeah, if you're interested in these experiences, I would look into it. And if you're having triggering reaction to me, to the idea of drugs, if you've still got all these beliefs that drugs are bad, people that have drugs are bad, that, that programming. So if you're still in that frame of mind, or that you would feel ashamed to do it, that is still part of your healing. So, if you've got ideas around this, then, at first you've got to work through and reprogram yourself and like look at, so your healing would be directed at, why do I feel that way? If I've never had drugs, I don't know what it's like. So my opinion is fully based off what someone else has told me from where. So, what I'm saying is that if you've got these really triggering opinions and everything, then, look at that and try and understand why you feel that way. A lot of people might have had bad experiences with people, with addiction and all that, but that's a different conversation. Like I said, we're talking about the healing aspect, because we know that all drugs can be used as medicine. That's why they call drugs medicine. Or something like that. And it doesn't, a lot of the healing journey is about asking yourself, why I think that way. Why have I been programmed to think that? Do I feel that way? Or is to ask yourself why you react in certain ways, why you have certain opinions on certain things, and to question yourself. Is that how I really feel? Do I need to look at that? Do I need to process that? I won't get any more into that, but you know what I'm talking about anyway. So that's my thoughts on the matter. Have a good one.